market fit. Can we go to the next slide? So now that we understand what is Formula Student, let's look at where all do we have Formula Student. So as you can see, Formula Student happens all over the world. It's literally one of the very rare events where a student like you and I can participate, which actually leads to a global stage. So starting from America, there's Formula Student Michigan, there's Formula Student Canada, there's Formula Student Brazil, right? In Europe, we have the UK, Formula Student Germany, Spain, Italy, right? Czech, Netherlands. So these are all the places where we have Formula Student competition. In Asia, we have Formula Student in China, Australia, Japan, Korea, and have saved the best for last, Formula Student India, also known as Formula Bharat. So this is our target. This is where we excel, and this is where we play. The winner of Formula Student Bharat can go to international, but everyone else can also participate in any of these competitions you see above. And there are teams who go to Germany, Italy, UK, US to compete with teams from those countries and perform quite well. So now we understand where is Formula Student. Now, the next question, we have understood what is Formula Student, we have understood who we are, where it is. Now, the next logical question is why Formula Student? I mean, who would like to work 20 plus hours a day in not so safe conditions, by the way, getting all kinds of grease and dust on themselves and straining your minds and your pockets to make a car? I mean, who would do that? You know, जब मैं कॉलेज में था, मेरे एक सीनियर ने मुझे एक कहावत कही थी। जब हम एक बहुत बड़े प्रॉब्लम में थे, उसने मुझे कहा था, केविन, यू नो, जो डरता है वो कभी कुछ नहीं करता है. So that sums up, that line sums up my motivation. Whenever, I see something which is scary, which is, very frightening to participate or do, that's the indication that this is when you should do it. This is why you should do it, because डर लगता है यार, डर से हारने वाले को जीत नहीं होती है. So why Formula Student? Let's start up with the first photo you see, putting theory into practice, right? So what does that mean? I mean, we all have these big books like DME, maths, mathematics, all these books that we study in our college. I have many friends who are very smart. I mean, they will score at the top of their classes. They will score 100 out of 100. But if you take them to a workshop, they don't know what to do. And that is the core of Formula Student. It teaches you what to do with those books. It teaches you what you can use your mind to and make something which never existed before. Learn something from the basics and create something with the practicals. This is Formula Student. The photo below that, working closer to industrial standards. So this is sort of like, imagine you have never seen a tire in your life, right? So if I tell you to create something which will help me to roll forward, what would you do? You would probably take a piece of rock, try to, cut a bit of the corners and roll over. It will be hard. Then a person saw, okay, this is hard. If I round up the edges, it will be easier to roll. So they smoothen out, make it into closer to a circle, easier to roll. Then you smoothen it out in even further, make it smooth circular shape. It's very easy to roll. Now you put a layer of rubber on top of it. Now it is softer. You put a bit of air inside it. Now it acts like a suspension. And if there's a hole, it sustains that damage. Now, this is what is known as industrial standards. If I tell you to make a tire, you don't make that stone tire or a stone wheel. You make a wheel with the rubber, with the air, right? Because the industry has reached that level. So you don't need to start from zero. The industry is already at 10. You can start from 11, right? Next is exploring next gen platforms. Oh man, I cannot stress the importance of this. I mean, platforms such as Katia, Inventor, Lotus, SolidWorks, Ansys, these are like the bread and butter of an engineer. I mean, if you want to make something, you don't just go and buy, 1 lakh worth of parts and start making it. You have to design it first. You have to be make sure that what you're making will actually succeed. And you do that using these softwares. And I can tell you, in our college, we used Katia. I worked, I did a class in Katia, worked for 3 hours in Formula Student, 3 years using Katia in Formula Student. And at the end of it, I mean, you could say, what was the use of it? The current job that I'm doing, product design engineer, we make like huge industrial compressors and offshore oil rigs. All of this is done in Katia. This is done in ANSYS. This is done in SolidWorks. These are the softwares which are the your hands in the design world, which are your hands in the engineering world, and you cannot let them go. Next is, look at the photo below, learning various engineering practices. Oh man, I mean, there are many ways to do things. You can eat food, directly from the plate to your mouth, but you can also eat food from a plate on top of your head, below the nose, and then eat it. But what is the right way, right? So the right way is not always taking it on top and going 10 other ways. There are defined procedures in the engineering handbook. If you know these things, you understand, okay, so if I follow this, my plan will succeed. And that knowledge of engineering practices is what makes a great engineer. And you only gain that by working on problems, on working on real practical issues and solving them. That's the engineering practices. So next, and one of the very important, is developing soft skills. So soft skills is, it's important not only for engineer, but for any girl, boy, student, working professional, everyone. If you don't have soft skill, no matter how smart you are, no matter how great you are, no one will ever listen to you. No one will understand you if you cannot communicate properly. And soft skills, ऐसा मतलब हम पैदा होने पे ही हम अच्छे से बोलते नहीं है. We don't just talk well when you're born. You have to practice, just like anything in life. Do you think your teachers, like the faculty who have organized, do you think when they started off they were like the world's best teachers or they were the best speakers? No. They started off just like you and me. They were also students at one point of time, just like you and me, and they were also scared. But practice makes perfect. Now when you look at your teachers, they are so smooth, they are so smart and witty in explaining the concepts of engineering, which are so hard, by the way, but they have learned the skill by constant practice. And that is the meaning of soft skills. You have to put yourself in situations where you need to talk to people and not just talk in vague terms like bhai kya kiya aaj. That is not the kind of soft skills I'm talking about. Soft skills is what we are doing right here, like myself, Shreyas, Nachiket, Pranav. So this comes, this is because we have developed that soft skills over the years by participating in events like Formula Students. We have to go to the competition and explain our concepts to the judges, explain to them why our design is better than others, why we have done or we have chosen the values that we have chosen, what is the reasoning behind it. You don't write the answers, you explain it. That's where soft skills comes in. Next is testing and problem solving. I mean, testing is just as unless, no matter how much you design, if you don't test it, you cannot verify it. Testing and validation is the core principle of engineering. And you have to understand, everyone, no matter how big or small, they have to do testing. You look at Tesla, you look at Google, you look at Mercedes, you look at BMW. All these people, they make these products in-house, test it within the company, and then they release it to the public. And when they do, it's a sixer. So testing and problem solving is at the core of Formula Student. You develop your car one by one. You put these bolts, maybe some bolts will crack, it will break. And you understand, okay, these bolts are not the right yield strength. You have to put a higher strength bolt over there. Now these things cannot come by a book. I'm pretty sure you must have learned about the yield strength and tensile strength of bolts, but you might have never seen a bolt actually crack. You might not have seen a fatigue failure. These things you will see in Formula Student. And the value that it brings in your life is unimaginable. We are standing here because of Formula Student. Next one is lifelong friendships and a shared identity called Formula Student. And this is by far my most favorite part of Formula students. You know, you don't just work alone. It's very easy to work alone, but it's very hard to work with others. We all have fights with our family, with our friends, but at the end of the day, you still go like them, right? Same is here. When you join a Formula student team, you're not joining some random people, you're joining a family. You're entering a group, a community, which you can always fall back on. Like, I am still in contact with all my colleagues from Formula Student, and we are really good friends. It's very hard to build relationships, and Formula Students gives you a platform to build those relationships. I'm still in touch with the captains and vice captains and participants from other teams who we had interacted. And these guys, they have their own startups, they have their own businesses, they have their own jobs. And this is known as network, your contacts, your pehchan. You don't need to know a politician. You just need to know very good friends. That's all you need in life. And the photo that you see ahead, that's my team from 2015. It was one of the best teams, and I'm still in touch with all of them, including Pranav, who's going to be in this presentation with me. So this is what I'm want to tell you. You're not just joining a team and colleagues. You're joining a family, and that value that a family brings in your life is impossible to match. With that, now you understand why Formula Student. So I would like to hand over to Nachiket. Thanks.
Thank you so much,
That
Mr.
was
Kevin.
that was really great to hear it from you, Kevin. Thanks for briefing us on the FS community, the opportunities involved, and of course sharing your experience, your learning, and all your memories. It was really helpful. Once again, I thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I am Shreyas, and now I'll take you through our team's history, and then we'll discuss on how you should start a new team. Also, I would throw some light on how exactly the event takes place. Just a minute. Yes. So on the right side, you could see this is our 2015 Supra team formed in our college. The team was formed by Mr. Puskaraj Karyakarte with 5 members, and later some colleagues joined his hands. In 2015, the team got an All India rank of 75 in Supra. It was in 2016 when, just in a span of 1 year, the team grew both technically and in count, and managed to get the sixth award in engineering design. In 2017, the team got good recognition at the national level. It was because we managed to bag the cost award and also secured an All India rank of 13. In 2018, also, the team again won the cost award and stood 15th all over India. It was in 2019 when the team secured All India rank 3 with second award in engineering design and got a national level recognition. Uh, the upper right photo you could say is of the Supra rulebook training program. This is our 2020 team. The rulebook training program was organized by Supra SAE India in a college, and Team Redline Racing completely volunteered that program. On the left side, you could see a photo. It is of a go-kart event which Team Redline Racing organized for all the college students in the vicinity of all the colleges during our cultural fest, our college cultural fest. Yes, you could see this achievements in just 5 years of span. The team is now at a national level and made the podium finish in Supra 2019. So that was about a short intro about Team Redline Racing. Yes, so for all this to happen, first you need to have an SAE collegiate club in your college. As you can see, a minimum of 50 students are required to start the club, and there also must be 2 faculty advisors and they should be members of SAE India. You could just check the website of SAE India for the all the remaining formalities. You could start your club there. by being a member of SAE India, you can participate in such competition. Your college can arrange industrial visits to companies like say Mercedes Benz or Mahindra Mahindra, whichever industries you like. Also, you get access to the e-libraries of SAE India. They have a lot of technical papers, and which may be very much beneficial for you guys. Uh, the second thing I've written here is the event timeline. For every event, which I'll be discussing in the next slide, you have to register your team. It is around 6 to 7 months before the event actually takes place. Then you have a lot of submissions which vary according to the different event which you will be participating. You have the SCS report, you have the cost report, you have the video submissions, you have the photo submissions. These are different for different events, and then the event takes place. Yes, so these are the formula student events which usually happen in India. The first two, namely Super ICA India and Formula